It's us again.
Hi, friends.
And so,
I can't laugh.
okay, so hold on.
I have a really, really, really bad cough.
And I do too. I'd like to think that it's a respiratory thing. Could be a cancer thing. Not exactly sure. But I got one, and so she's got one too. So maybe I'll talk a little bit more today just to kind of help you out. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. Hey, you're ruining the video. I'm just sorry. That's just mean. So, and she also said it gets worse when she laughs. So that's just double mean. You guys don't know it, but yeah, we're sitting in our chairs when normally, but we're sitting in the opposite one. So we're actually looking at the setting sun right now. But we wanted to just kind of talk to you again about some of the things that are going on, and for us, where we left off was we ended up having just a really good and tough, but good spiritual weekend, right? It was just blessings, but we're just a couple of days after finding out, and so it's tough. But we're just calling upon the Lord, and we haven't stopped calling upon a Lord to help us out, right, honey?
Never.
And but right after the weekend of just praising God and just asking for His help, we roll into Monday, and Mayo was quick to get us in, and we had our first visit with pulmonology. And to be honest, it was kind of more of a greeting, how's it going type meeting, just because she had no information, she had no testing, and had to do that. So once again, a testament to Mayo is they got us in.
The biopsy was really quick.
Right, yeah, so it would look like the biopsy was going to be at the end of the week.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But they got us in on Wednesday, and the team
I think also because we called so many times, they're like, we got to get these people in because they're driving us crazy.
we are definitely living by the squeaky wheel gets the grease, you know, without a doubt. And so, so it's a lot of fortune and a lot of pestering that's getting us done, but a testament to Mayo. And then we got the reading on Friday.
Yeah.
And because I'm not learned in the whole medical stuff, although I'm starting to get smart, let me ask you. Okay.
The biopsy results.
Yeah.
So the biopsy results came in, and essentially, it was confirmed that Mike has renal cell carcinoma, so kidney cancer, and it was confirmed that the tumors in the lungs were actually renal cell carcinoma. So,
and how did they get in the lungs?
How did they get in the lungs?
Yeah.
The biopsy.
Well, I mean, how did they?
Oh, you mean
say the M word?
Metastases? The cancer. I thought you meant how, through a scope.
I say spread.
Sorry, I'm thinking about how they do the biopsy if they went through bronchoscopy.
No, it's
never mind. So
metastasized.
Yes.
Oh, hey, I said it. So I'm getting better.
You said it.
Okay.
So yes, the cancer has metastasized to both lungs. And so for us, it's crazy what we're thankful for these days. But actually, we are kind of thankful, actually very thankful for that. I was thankful for two things on that Friday.
Yeah.
And I remember I was hiking Pinnacle, and two things. Obviously, this came to mind. Really happy. We have one cancer, not two, so that will help. And the big deal for me personally is the fact that this renal cell carcinoma is not treated primarily or not treated by cancer, or by chemotherapy or radiation. And so for me, prior to knowing all of this, I was a crazy lady getting a hold of the most famous doctors that have 10,000, patient requests, and they only take 50. I was going to be like that 50. That's how crazy I was. I mean, I got a hold of people that knew people that knew people. And when I found that out, I thought, because I didn't want him to go on chemo. Now, obviously, we're not going to go down that track, but it just was such a relief for me. I was so happy. So we were pretty delighted.
Well, we haven't been told by the oncologist for sure yet, but we are 90% sure, 95% sure that we're not going to have to go down the chemo, which is huge. It's a lot of poison in your body. We just didn't want to do that. And that's the choice in the research we had done. I don't want to lose this sweet, sweet beard. All of these things. It's a horrible thing that I have on my face.
I love it.
I know you do.
I so love it. And he couldn't have this with his job.
Yeah, I know it. So. Who knows how long it's going to get. But so that was good news. And so I remember you talking that you just felt so happy with the results.
Oh, I was so happy with the results. I mean, to know that you don't have a primary lung cancer, although it's so rare, but you never know unless you know. a primary lung and a primary kidney. That means that is chemotherapy for sure with the lungs. But this is going to spare you not only grief now while you're in treatment, but down the road, because there's so many long-term negative side effects with traditional chemotherapy. So
Absolutely. And
yeah.
oh, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, that's it.
I just wanted to say is not only do we get that news real quickly, I just want to, I'm wearing my Southwest shirt today, and it's just more of kind of an acknowledgement of my Southwest family. I've got tons of friends, tons of family here, friends and family here, and all over the world, all over the country, I should say. And they're just reaching out. But what shocked me is I've had I don't want to call them strangers, but we call them swawmates or cohorts here at Southwest. And everybody has just done an amazing job inside and outside the company, whether it's my chief pilots like Mel just killing it, or just random pilots and flight attendants and ground people that are just sending prayers. And it just means so much. Some companies are fantastic, and they say they're fantastic. This one is just, the people here are amazing.
They have been so incredible. They sent us blankets and just the services they have. It's just been, and do you want to say real quick, just we gotta hustle because I don't want to.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
But I'm telling you to hustle, see?
Oh my gosh. But we have, it's full circle. Wrap this up.
No, but there's something special he wants to say.
Well, there's a couple things.
Anyway,
Well, one.
Tell about the Austin airport, the stranger that came out to us with the videos.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So crazy.
So we just had somebody at the Austin airport, just a lovely lady who just came up and said, hey, I know you, I saw you on the video, and I'm praying for you.
A stranger in Austin. So
and I don't even think it was a Southwest employee.
It was just so random.
It was just so I don't know how many people are hearing this, but I just hope it helps somebody.
Spread it, because if you know someone, if you know someone that would be touched by this, because that's that's the reason
we're in the middle of it. And real quickly, I also wanted to acknowledge, like I said, I got countless friends, that have just been by my side, Denny and Dana and all. I don't want to name them just because they have just been there, my rocks and everything like this. But and there's so many that I would miss. But I've also been getting God winks. So my friend in town, Ryan, happened to reach out after I got the diagnosis, and his father had the exact same thing, renal cell that spread into the lungs over 20 years ago, and he's been alive for 22 plus years, and he's still fighting it and still doing well. And those are the kind of things that just give me inspiration, because it's like when you're in your darkest and then you hear stories and examples of people getting past this, it just means so much to not only her, who's my entire support network out here and is 99.9% of why I fight so hard. It's wonderful to hear those kind of things, because then it gives me an extra oomph to fight for you. Yeah. And so, but the other thing I really wanted to talk about tonight, and it's going to be kind of like her with a preview, is talking about, like, these are steps, but and I've heard from a lot of people that it's about attitude, and coming and you just got to bring a positive attitude and a never say die attitude, but just a be yourself attitude. And so my beautiful Kendra here has lived it, has walked that life. And I kind of want you to, your background is daunting and your hardships are daunting, but I never see you other than having just an amazing day. And so, like, can you tell me, would you mind saying, like, some of the things that you have had to fight through and struggle through?
Sure. Yeah. Sure. I have a motto before I go there. My motto is always like, people often say, oh, it's just a bad day. Someone had a bad day, or you're having a bad day or something. Yeah. My motto is there are no bad days. Like, not even, I say every day's a good day, but some days are harder than others. But every day is a great day because we're here, right? Yeah. So it's kind of my motto in general for life. I would say that I've had I've had a very blessed life in so many ways, but I've also had a very challenged life in a lot of ways. And I was sharing on somewhere that I have this gal that knows quite a bit about my life, and she does a podcast, and she asked me to do like a full 10 episode series on my life, which I thought, wow, So we are on like episode 7, but
You may have to do a couple more episodes.
maybe share. I'll share what I don't know if I want to listen to it. But anyway, so I say that just because I have been given some significant hurdles in my life, and I'm not going through all of them. I will go through just a small sliver, but I will share perhaps the most recent. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay. So most people know that I had a brain tumor. I had no evidence of or no inclination that I had a brain tumor, but I had a very large brain tumor in 2020, and I had seizures in the middle of the night. And so Ruby, we called her Ruby. She was very large. She took up the parietal and the frontal and parietal regions of the right side of my brain. So she was lodged right here for about 10 years. So anywho, she was so enormous. The surgery and whatnot was quite complicated, and there were some things that had to happen as a result. So long story short, that has left me with a lifelong, lifelong challenges that I would have never been able to forecast. I don't want to go through those challenges, but nonetheless, it is a daily walk with these deficits, cognitively and physically. And so for me, I address these on a regular basis and every single day. But I do believe that, there's always room for improvement. So I'm always looking to continue to improve. So nonetheless, they've been stable throughout the time, and I live with them internally, but I do not want to present as if I have them. And that's just one thing. I'll get back to that in a second. And then I've had just some issues, other health issues, with some pretty big medical errors in my last 2 or 3 years that unfortunately just happened with my care. And so one of the errors resulted in a POTS syndrome. So it's a condition, I'm not going to go through it, but bottom line, it was a pretty big setback for me, just because I didn't really understand what was happening and whatnot. So there's just a lot of it with that. And then I had a pretty big,
big mosquito. You guys can't see it.
I had a pretty big, I don't want to go into details, but I had a pretty big surgical error in the last couple of years. That was pretty, what did you say?
Unexpected, frustrating.
Obvious. Long story short, it was a pretty big oopsie. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of spending last year kind of getting through that. So again, going back to the brain tumor and going back to when I have something inside my my system, if you will, that I'm managing on a continuous basis throughout the day, how do I go about presenting myself in such a way that that it's not a burden for other people? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're asking or no?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was asking.
Okay. Well, for those of you who have been through some real hard things, and some of you might really understand what I'm trying to say, is I actually have like this internal dialogue with myself, and I kind of challenge myself to deal with it and be patient with myself, have a lot of self-grace, but at the same time, I just expect a lot of myself. And maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's not. But for me, I have high expectations of how I want to exist in the world. And one of the expectations I have is to do my best to live in such a way, regardless of what I'm dealing with. And so it's not other people's burden that I have issues that I have to manage. But I really try to do that. But I will say it is a continual effort. It's just a continual decision, micro decisions all day, every day, on how I can best show up in the world and still manage the issues that I have to manage. But it's not like one decision. You're like, okay, I'm going to do a really great job, and I'm just going to be a strong person, It is a continuous check-in with yourself, because there's lots of times that I say, I don't really feel like being my best self, I just kind of want to just not. But you know what? I don't do it. I don't like the feeling. So I think I just try to do my best because it feels better. For me, it feels better. Maybe not for most people. Maybe some people don't want to feel like that. But for me, it feels better.
I just want you to know your mediocre self is better than 99.9% of people's best day. You're always walking around like it's Christmas Day, and she does. And then on Christmas Day, it's
Watch out.
crazy. Yeah,
I've always been an enthusiastic little girl. So.
Yeah, but you nail it. And the reason I wanted her to kind of talk about this, and this is it in kind of in a nutshell, is I looked at her and the things that you had gone through, you really were my hero, you know? The tumor and the POTS syndrome and all of those things, the knee replacements and all of these things were just blows that knock her down, but she gets right back up with a smile on her face. And to be honest, there's times where I see your frustration, I see what happens, and I know that if I was in that boat, I'd be like, I don't think I could do that. At least not with that kind of an attitude. And I secretly, I don't want to say pray, but I would secretly just go, please, Lord, don't have me go through that, because I don't think I could do nearly as well. And then, so like through the weekend, you know how we are. I mean, we're sad, we're trying to cope, and on some time around, like, I don't know, just a couple of days ago, she just kind of said to me, before we had the biopsy, she's like, I want my mic back. I know it's tough, but you need to find the sunshine, the light in the day. And that just made all the difference. Because some days you don't want to get up and put a smile on, like she didn't for years, battling what she's been battling. But she did. And I never had to, quote unquote, feel the burden because she's woe is me. She just has an incredible attitude. And so that's what I want to do. Is part of my attitude with fighting this is I want to reclaim the old Mike, not because the old Mike was awesome.
Yeah, no, it really was. Really
No,
was.
no.
And is.
Well, the old Mike is awesome to you,
No.
And well, you didn't marry humglum cancer Mike, and no one really wanted to marry cancer Mike, even me. But
Still would.
I know. Oh, good catch.
Yeah.
But I want to give you what you have given me, and that's strength through adversity. And you have been painting that pathway. You have been showing me how to do it for the last several years as I'm sitting back and admiring. And so I want you to be able to do that, is just sit back and admire how strong, how much I laughed through it. And so that's what I want to do is I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to do this by bringing a smile to your face, hopefully.
You always do.
Every day. And so you deserve that. My kids deserve that. My family deserves that. My friends deserve that. And not only that.
And you mean all the kids? Because
all the kids. So all the kids.
Yeah, all of them.
And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And I deserve that.
Yeah.
I don't need to be sitting around mopey and just all dreary guy. I want to be fun guy. And because I can sit around, anybody can sit around and just be unhappy. But it takes strength, it takes courage, it takes asking the Lord. I ask the Lord every day.
Grit.
Grit?
Grit. I love grit. I love the word grit. I taught my kids the word grit. They know what grit is.
Thank you.
It's grit.
It's grit.
And that is what you need to succeed. Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, you need grit.
Did you just see her? Did you just see that? That was grit.
It's grit. It really is. It's doing the right thing for the right reasons, not looking to the left, not looking to the right, not caring what people think about you, and do the right thing for the right reasons, because it's going to be hard. That's grit.
Yeah. And you know
And do
what?
it with a smile on your face. No, actually, I want to comment on that. Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. It
What is
needed to be
impor-
said.
but-
It needed to be
Well,
said.
what is important is that you also know you can fall apart. That you
I know.
can be grumpy, dumpy. That you can be mopey, cancer Mike. You know what I'm saying? You can be.
Yeah.
You should be. You need to be.
Yeah.
Right? But I saw him keep that disposition longer than I felt was best for him,
Yeah.
to be honest. I just felt like it's not going to be good for Mike to heal with that disposition. So,
It becomes contagious, and it becomes repetitive, and it becomes habit.
yeah. It
If I
does.
just sit around and just do woe is me, then I'm going to be like that with everything I do. And I'm going to have setbacks. I'm going to probably lose my kidney. I'm probably going to go through some immunotherapy that's going to have some side effects. And I'm going to go through, and when I get a all clear, 18, 24 months from now, who knows, I'm going to get a recurrence or something. And you know what?
You know what?
I'm going to battle it.
Rewind. Nope. Pardon us. Excuse me.
I may.
No. Get rid of it. No. After 18 20 months, 24 months, you're going to go and maybe you want to go back to work or maybe you want to get a hobby. Forget recurrence. What? No. Rewind. I'm not editing this, but I wish that I could.
Well, I know. Okay,
Please,
well,
no.
maybe decades from now, I'll catch something else. Maybe I'll have a horrible receding hairline.
Sure. Okay. Continue. Anything?
That's it. I know we're rambling, but I just tell you what it's attitude.
Yeah.
And wherever you find your inspiration, whether you find it from God, whether you find it internally, externally, or from the love of your life that God brought into your life, then maybe that's why He brought him in here, you in here. Is that you're my inspiration?
Well, thank you. And I'll say I do believe that we are also. I just don't know. I feel like we are held accountable for the way that we manage our trials. I do. It's always easy to be one way when things are going really well. But I believe, and I'm a woman of faith, so I do believe that, we are looked upon on times that are hard. And how are we manifesting our heart space? Is it manifesting at a state of gratitude for the direction God has given us, and even in this hard time, or is it harboring resentment, anger? Wanting to get revenge, things like that. And so that's important for me because I do feel like that for me, I'm being looked upon on how I manage things. And I talked to you yesterday about this. I look at this analogy when, what do they call it? Goldsmith, what is Smith? When you put the metal in the fire, the smith, goldsmith, metalsmith?
Metalsmith?
I don't know. Okay. Anyway, so I'm a something smith. Anyway, I'm putting blacksmith. Thank you. I'm putting some metal in the fire, and I'm burning off the rust and the corrosion and the gunk, that we have, and I'm getting to the root of it. I'm getting to the true colors of this piece of metal, right? And I look at that with trials. I'm like, refiner's fire is just that. I mean, we are refining. We are getting rid of the stuff that, whatever the ego or the labels and the whatever, right? And then we're really showing our true colors. And I think that's why, I never really give the rats poo-poo.
No.
I just kind of live to my own drum. And I know it's a little bit odd, but
burn everything out.
I think that
and you're
it's
going to see
important
this
to live
right there,
that. Yeah.
Right? And that we're children of God.
Yes, we are.
And we're in love.
Oh, yes, we are.
I know. Okay, well, thanks again. You guys have a beautiful day, and we'll talk to you again soon. And I hope you're enjoying this. And if you're on a journey, we pray for you because I know it's tough. And
let us know how we can pray. If you know somebody that needs this, maybe just let us know somehow. And we'll have
Okay. We'll have a
Well,
Okay.
I can't.
Okay, there she goes. I better stop it before she starts going crazy. Okay, bye.